All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive into, well, Amazon.
Amazon. It's
Always a fascinating one.
it is.
Right.
I mean, who doesn't love Amazon?
Right.
So you know them for one-click ordering and super fast shipping
Right.
and just that incredible convenience.
Mm-hmm.
But lately they've been in the news for another reason,
Yes.
which is just huge profits.
Yeah.
And we have this really interesting blog post that we're going to kind of break down.
Okay.
And it's called Amazon's Record-Breaking Profits and Investments. The giant that keeps growing.
The giant that keeps growing.
And it's fascinating to see how they're managing to sort of walk this tightrope
Mm-hmm.
between raking in the profits, but at the same time investing heavily in things like, their cloud service,
Right.
AWS,
Yeah.
and even faster delivery for us as shoppers.
Oh, and what's interesting is Amazon's actually changing their playbook a little bit here.
Right.
Because this blog post calls it a pendulum swing. Yeah.
In the past, they would swing back and forth between prioritizing profits and pouring everything back into growth.
Mm-hmm.
But now it seems like they're trying to do both at the same time.
Yeah. And that's what's remarkable.
Yeah. I mean, in the past,
Mm-hmm.
Amazon's CFO, Brian Olsavsky, said they had to choose one or the other.
Right.
Now they've figured out how to do both simultaneously and continually.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the money. It reveals a fundamental shift in how Amazon operates as a company.
So let's break down how they're pulling this off.
Okay.
This blog post points to two major pillars
Okay.
of their success. One, Amazon Web Services, better known as AWS.
Yes.
And two, some really serious upgrades to their retail operations.
Okay.
So starting with AWS, it's kind of mind-blowing to think that it now accounts for 60%
Yeah.
of Amazon's operating income.
It's wild, 60%. That's more than half.
I know, right?
It's really become the backbone of not just Amazon, but
Right.
a huge portion of the internet. So for those who might not be familiar with AWS, imagine it as a massive digital power grid.
Okay.
It provides the electricity, or in this case, computing power,
Mm-hmm.
that websites, apps, online services need to run.
Yeah.
And especially with this recent explosion of artificial intelligence, or AI as most people call it,
Right.
the demand for AWS is only going to skyrocket.
That makes a lot of sense because, AI needs a ton of computing power
It does.
to do all the amazing things that it's doing.
Oh, yeah.
So it makes sense that a big chunk of Amazon's record-breaking investments is going right back into expanding AWS, and particularly in the realm of AI.
Absolutely. And this is something you should care about even if you don't use AWS directly.
Right.
Because Amazon's investment in AI is going to have ripple effects across the entire tech landscape.
I can see that, but it's not just AWS carrying Amazon, right?
Right.
Even their traditional retail side is more profitable now.
Absolutely. The blog post really highlights how laser-focused they are on reducing what they call cost to serve,
Okay.
which is essentially all the expenses involved in getting a product from their warehouse to your doorstep.
Okay, so how are they cutting those costs?
Well, one of the key strategies is something called a regionalized fulfillment network.
Mm-hmm.
So think of it like this.
Okay.
It's like a giant chess game
Mm-hmm.
where Amazon has strategically placed warehouses closer to customers
Right.
to minimize travel distances.
Makes sense.
This allows them to offer incredibly fast delivery options,
Mm-hmm.
like same-day or next-day delivery.
It's like they're playing 4D chess with logistics.
It really is.
And it's clearly paying off because the blog post mentions over 40 million customers
Wow.
used free same-day delivery last year.
Wow.
That's a 25% increase from the year before.
That's incredible.
And I'll admit, I've definitely taken advantage of that a few times myself.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you need something quick,
Right.
you know?
Well, and it's a brilliant strategy because it benefits both Amazon and the customer.
Right.
Customers get their order faster,
Mm-hmm.
and Amazon actually saves money by delivering more efficiently.
It's a win-win.
It is.
So we've got this powerhouse combination of AWS and a supercharged retail operation.
Yeah.
But the blog post mentions that they're not stopping there.
Right. They're also diversifying their revenue streams with things like the Amazon Marketplace,
Yeah.
advertising services, and subscription offerings like Amazon Prime.
Right.
And these aren't just side gigs either.
Yeah, so how do these additional revenue streams play into their overall strategy?
Well, think of it like this.
Okay.
These businesses generate a consistent flow of income that allows Amazon to pump even more money into their core operations, like AWS and retail.
Mm-hmm.
So it creates a powerful cycle where success in one area fuels growth in another.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all the pieces fit together,
Yeah.
but this brings up a really interesting point. Amazon's success isn't happening in a vacuum.
No,
They're setting a new pace for everyone else in the business world.
they are. And we're going to dive into how other companies are reacting to Amazon's dominance right after a quick break.
Okay, sounds good.
I mean, Amazon's success is definitely shaking things up
Yeah.
across multiple industries.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the blog post we're looking at today really highlights how they're not just playing the game,
Right.
they're changing the rules.
It's like they found a cheat code
Yeah.
for business growth, and now everybody else is like scrambling to catch
Yeah.
up.
Totally. And a big part of that cheat code is their strategic approach to investment.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're pouring billions of dollars into things like expanding AWS, building out their fulfillment network,
Yeah.
developing new technologies.
Yeah.
But it's not just about throwing money at the problem.
Right.
They're incredibly strategic
Yeah.
with their investments, focusing on areas that give them a competitive edge.
So it's not just quantity, it's quality too. Can you give me an example of what you mean?
Absolutely. Their focus on regionalized fulfillment
Mhm.
is a perfect example.
Okay.
So by strategically placing warehouses closer to customers,
Right.
they can reduce shipping times and costs,
Makes sense.
which makes them more competitive on both price and convenience.
It's like they're outsmarting the competition
Yeah.
on multiple levels.
Exactly. And it's not just about speed either.
Okay.
By optimizing their fulfillment network, they're squeezing more value out of every dollar they spend.
Mm.
They're able to deliver more products to more customers while keeping costs in check.
It's almost like they've cracked the code on how to scale a business without sacrificing profitability.
In many ways they have, and it's a model that other businesses are definitely trying to replicate,
Sure.
but it's not easy to match Amazon's success.
Right.
They have this really unique combination of massive scale advanced technology
Mm-hmm.
and a relentless focus on the customer that's difficult to replicate.
It's fascinating to see how Amazon's strategy is playing out in different industries.
Yeah.
For example, in the retail space, their focus on same-day and next-day delivery
Mm-hmm.
has raised the bar for everyone.
It has. Consumers are now accustomed to getting their purchases quickly,
Right.
and that's putting immense pressure on traditional retailers to keep up.
Yeah.
Some are struggling to adapt,
Mm-hmm.
while others are finding creative ways to compete.
Okay.
It's forcing everyone to innovate and find new ways to differentiate themselves.
So it's a sink or swim situation
It is.
for many retailers.
Yeah.
But this goes beyond just retail, right?
Right.
What about Amazon's influence on the cloud computing market?
Well, their cloud dominance is definitely having a major impact on the tech industry as well.
Mm-hmm.
AWS has become the go-to platform for countless startups
Right.
and even established enterprises.
And that gives Amazon a lot of power
It does.
in the tech world.
Absolutely. They can leverage their position to attract top talent,
Mm.
invest in cutting-edge research, and essentially shape the future of cloud computing.
It sounds like Amazon is sitting pretty comfortably right now.
They are.
But the blog post also mentions some potential downsides
Yeah.
to their dominance.
Right. One concern is that their relentless pursuit of efficiency could lead to job losses in certain sectors.
Mm-hmm.
As they automate more processes and streamline their operations, they may need fewer workers in some areas.
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
And it's something that policymakers and business leaders definitely need to be thinking about.
Absolutely.
Another concern is that their sheer market power could stifle competition and innovation.
Mm-hmm.
If they become too dominant in certain industries,
Right.
it could create barriers for new companies trying to enter the market.
It could.
So it's a double-edged sword.
It is.
On one hand, their innovations are driving progress and creating new opportunities. But on the other hand, their size and influence raise legitimate concerns about the long-term health of the market.
Exactly. It's a complex issue with no easy answers. But it's definitely an important conversation to be having as Amazon continues to reshape the business landscape.
This blog post has been really insightful.
It has.
It lays out the factors behind Amazon's success and the potential implications for the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
It's a must-read for anyone who wants to understand how the business world is evolving.
I agree. It's a glimpse into one of the most influential companies in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it raises some important questions about the future of commerce technology and competition.
Now let's shift gears and bring it back to you, the listener.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about Amazon from a business perspective, but what does all this mean for your everyday life?
That's the key question, right?
Right.
All of this boils down to how Amazon's strategy affects us as consumers.
Exactly. And one of the most obvious ways is through their impact on our shopping habits.
Mhm.
Think about it. Have you noticed yourself becoming more reliant on Amazon for your online purchases?
It's hard to resist their convenience.
Right.
The vast selection, the fast shipping, the easy returns.
Yeah.
A very tempting combination.
And the blog post highlights a really important point that I think we often overlook.
Okay.
It's not just that Amazon is offering these services.
Right.
It's that they're setting a new standard for what consumers expect from all retailers.
That's a crucial point.
Yeah.
We've become so accustomed to Amazon's speed and efficiency that waiting a week for an online order from another retailer
Right.
can feel like an eternity,
Right.
even if it was perfectly normal just a few years ago.
So the big question is this ultimately a good thing?
Yeah.
On one hand, Amazon is pushing the envelope and forcing other businesses to step up their game.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, are they creating a level of expectation that's simply unsustainable for most companies?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
It's like a giant experiment playing out in real time.
Yeah.
Will this pressure lead to a wave of innovation across the board,
Mm-hmm.
or will it create an environment where only the biggest and most efficient companies can survive?
And for us as consumers, it raises some interesting dilemmas as well.
Mm.
Are we willing to pay a premium for speed and convenience from other retailers?
Right.
Or are we content to let Amazon become the default for everything?
Because if Amazon becomes the only game in town,
Right.
that could have some unintended consequences.
Yeah.
Less competition could mean less choice
Mm-hmm.
and potentially even higher prices down the road.
It's a lot to consider. This blog post really opened my eyes to the complexities of Amazon's rise and the ripple effects it has on all of us.
I agree. The key takeaway is that Amazon isn't just a company. It's a force shaping the future of how we live, work, and consume.
Right.
Understanding their strategy is crucial if we want to navigate this evolving landscape.
So to wrap things up, I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on.
All right.
Think about your last online shopping experience.
Mm-hmm.
Did you compare prices?
Right.
Did you factor in shipping times?
Mm-hmm.
Did you even consider going to a physical store instead?
It's a good reminder that we all have a role to play in shaping the future of commerce
Mm-hmm.
and understanding the forces at play, like Amazon's relentless pursuit of efficiency and growth,
Right.
is the first step towards making informed decisions.
And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder the Amazon effect and how it's playing out in your own life.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep diving deep. You know, it's almost like Amazon's become this unavoidable force in our lives.
Yeah, it's true. Like, you can see their influence everywhere.
Right?
From the way we shop online to the technology that powers our favorite apps.
Yeah.
Even to the expectations we have for businesses in general.
I think what's most remarkable is how they've managed to make this incredible shift.
Mhm.
They went from this company that was famous for pouring every dollar back into growth
Right.
to one that's now generating massive profits
Yeah.
while still innovating like crazy.
And that's a big lesson here
Yeah.
for other businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon has shown that it's possible to do both.
Right.
You can achieve profitability and innovation. It's not an either-or proposition.
But it's definitely not easy.
It's not easy.
I mean, they've had to make some tough choices
Right.
and invest strategically to get where they are today.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And it's important to remember that Amazon's success didn't happen overnight.
Right.
I mean, they've been at this for decades, building their infrastructure, refining their processes,
Yeah.
and constantly pushing the boundaries.
So for those of you listening who might be entrepreneurs or business leaders,
Mm-hmm.
what can you learn from Amazon's playbook?
Well, one key takeaway, I think, is the importance of long-term thinking.
Yeah.
Amazon has always been willing to play the long game,
Mm-hmm.
even if it meant sacrificing short-term profits.
That's a great point. It's easy to get caught up in that pressure
Yeah,
to deliver immediate results.
right.
But sometimes the best decisions are the ones that pay off years down the road.
Absolutely. Another important lesson is the power of customer obsession. I mean, Amazon built their entire empire around putting the customer first.
Right.
And that's reflected in everything they do,
Yeah.
from their vast selection to their fast shipping
Mm-hmm.
to their easy returns process.
It's really amazing how they've managed to maintain that focus on the customer,
Yeah,
even as they've grown into this massive corporation.
it really is. It's a testament to their leadership and their culture.
Mm-hmm.
They've created an environment where everyone in the company is aligned around this shared goal
Yeah.
of exceeding customer expectations.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Amazon's remarkable rise,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
The choices we make as consumers
Mm-hmm.
have a profound impact on which businesses succeed
Right.
and which ones struggle.
That's so true. Every time we click buy, we're casting a vote for the kind of worlds we want to live in.
So the next time you're shopping online or using a service that's powered by AWS, take a moment to consider the bigger picture. Think about the values you're supporting
Right.
and the impact your choices have on the market.
Because ultimately, we all have a role to play in shaping the future of commerce.
Yeah.
And by understanding the forces at play, like Amazon's pursuit of efficiency and growth, we can make more informed decisions that benefit both ourselves and the world around us.
Well said. That's a great place to leave it.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Amazon.
It's been fun.
Until next time, keep diving deep